trying to live like there's no consequences. They tell us how to live right. We get all defensive. That's not the way that life works. Sorry to bust your bubble.
Good afternoon and welcome on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. This is the Wellness Report with Helen. I am your host, Helen, and I am so happy to be here today. This is my second week back, and as I stated before, I returned from a long sabbatical, so I'm excited to be with you all. We are brought to you by Attorneys Are Us, which is the show that follows this show, where you can learn about if you're in the event you're in an auto accident, if you had a slip and fall, or pretty much a whole bunch of different legal genres. And we will talk with Attorney Thomas Courts about that following this show. So definitely stay tuned because we have some good advice to give you. I just want to thank you all for viewing in today. So today we're talking about something that is a part of a lot of our lives. We're talking about dieting. The reason I chose this subject to talk about today on the Wellness Report with Helen is it took me a lot of research to learn about what dieting is. And first, let me give you the definition. So that's the main thing. So dieting is the practice of eating food in a regulated or supervised fashion to decrease, maintain, or increase body fat. In other words, it is a conscious and controlled or restriction of the diet. So basically, when that's something that I particularly had to learn about that I don't want to do. What I was seeking was a lifestyle change and a lifestyle guidance. This is not something that I want to do until I get to my ideal weight and then I'm done. This is something that I wanted to practice for the rest of my life and wanted my family to practice as well. So that's why it's really important to me. So I don't diet. After I really learned what it was, I realized, no, that's not something that I want to do. I want to do this forever. So I decided in 2017, you guys know when I started the show, January 2017, that didn't want to diet anymore. I said, I want to change my lifestyle and relationship with food. And that was what I concentrated on first. Many people can diet and exercise at the same time. Me, I'm not one of them because I am one of the small 8% of the people in this world that do stay committed to your New Year's resolution. So I hear that it's only like 8% of the people that keep their resolutions. And so I'm glad to say that I am one of those 8%ers. And I say that proudly because I don't really like to make a commitment unless I can keep it. And my commitment last year was to lose 10% of my body weight, which is realistic. If you weigh 250 pounds, you want to lose 25 pounds. I think that's more realistic. Well, I surpassed that and lost over 20% of my body weight. So I was glad. So I did, fulfill my New Year's resolution last year, which, like I said, is only 8% of the people that make them. So I was very proud that I was on that end to do that. And the way that I did that, as I said, small goals, realistic. Like I said, losing 10% of your body weight. And if you exceed that, fine. If you don't, as long as you're working towards that goal. I don't think that's a big commitment, but it's not easy. I'm going to be honest. I'd be lying to you if I told you it was easy. It's a challenge. I had to constantly, pray or meditate. I had to make sure I didn't have things in my home to tempt me. I had to get my family support and ask them to not do certain things around me and withhold to help me. So, you have to make sure that you have that safety net if you are looking for that, to do a lifestyle change. Also, so not only did I make small, realistic goals, I also planned my meals. This came later on, but I plan my meals. And what I mean by that is I do a menu of what I want, and that helps me generate my grocery list. So if I know that I'm going to cook 3 days in a week, which usually me or my husband, we cook about 3 days a week, and then, between those days we'll have leftovers because we'll make enough. And we usually try to go out on maybe 1 or 2 days a week on the weekend if we can. But I try to at least plan my meals. So if I know I'm going to have chicken one night, I know if we're going to have turkey one night or pork chops, whatever we decide, I plan accordingly. And it helps you with your grocery shopping too, because then you're not being wasteful. So that's what we do. We plan meals. Now, I have heard about this new company. A couple of people that I know have tried it called Home Chef. They have a lot of meal kit companies out there. There's a lot of them. I think there's Home Chef, there's Hello Fresh, and I think there's one called Blue Ribbon. And what these companies do is they give you planned meals. And say, I think they're more catered to people that don't have their own recipes or maybe aren't the best cooks, because they come with everything, all of the spices that you need for the recipe, all of the meat, all of the produce, everything that you need. It comes in a pack box that is sealed and they have it where they have ice packed in it so it'll stay cool. Say for instance, they deliver it and you're not home. Well, the way these boxes are designed, that they can stay cold for about 24 hours. So I like those options too. If you're a busy person like myself and you don't have time to always go to the grocery store, they have options. Like I know Kroger's has curbside pickup. So you can order all of your food online and then you can pick it up at the curb. I mean, most of us can do that. So I'm sure if you know any, give me a call. You can call me at 313-365-7379. We're on live today. If you have any other meal kits or any other mail order ideas, I'm not fond of the prepared meals. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of them are processed, and processed foods are really not the best because they are not good for your liver and gallbladder and things like that. So I'm just not sure about the processed foods. That's not something that I would be interested in. So yeah, I would plan my meals. I also try to take my meals, for lunch as much as I can. I have like some little cuties in my purse now, the little oranges and things like that in case in the event that you're not able to grab something. And sometimes you're in areas like I am now in particular where they don't have anything that I can eat on my diet or my, I shouldn't say diet, I did say the word diet, but my lifestyle program, I should say. Another thing, I get a lot of emails asking me about vitamins and things like that. I don't really take vitamins anymore. I just take a multivitamin. But for the most part, what I learned from my doctor is that we should get most of the vitamins and nutrients that we need in our food. So I try to get them naturally. I used to take turmeric supplements. Well, now I just buy the turmeric and I shave it on my salad and I eat it naturally. And turmeric is great. It's a natural antibiotic. It's good for pain. It's good for inflammation. It's good if you have a virus. It's really really good to take every day, and so I try to incorporate it in my meals, and it really doesn't have a strong taste. It's definitely a strong color. It's like a mustard color. I think that is the where, if I'm not mistaken, they get the color for mustard is turmeric. So and I know a lot of companies, food companies like Kraft, are replacing a lot of their food coloring with turmeric, whichever you prefer. So I prefer to get my vitamins out of my food versus taking supplements. But it's up to you. You can get with your doctor. By no means am I a doctor, and I am not trained to give you advice on that. Like I said, I am a medical consultant by trade, but this is just something that I'm doing in my personal life, and I'm sharing the information with you because it works for me. That's pretty much all it is just advice. Right now, as I stated to you last show, one of my clients was really, really nice to purchase 3 months of Weight Watchers for me and another client. And so we attend that every week together. And I decided, well, it can't hurt. So I really like the Weight Watchers program because they allow you to have foods that they have the point system and this new freestyle system that they have. I'm sure you've probably seen it on the commercials with Oprah. Um, they said that you can eat, they have like over 200 foods that don't have a point value, which makes it very easy um, if you want to snack and you can eat a fruit piece of fruit and there's no point value to that. So but what I learned is that that doesn't mean like when you alter that fruit or alter those free fruit foods, then they do hold a point value. So, for instance, I like grapefruit juice. Well, if I were to have my husband juice a grapefruit, then it holds value. So it would be points for the juice. But the actual fruit, if you peel it, it's no points. So they want you to actually peel the fruit and enjoy the actual fruit. So that's why they make it no point value. So I'm learning a lot from that, and I think that whatever you use, whether it's Weight Watchers, whatever diet or lifestyle change that you choose, as long as you're comfortable with it, and it's something where you're getting balanced meals. I don't believe in anything too extreme. Like, for instance, if you have low carb, high carb, I believe you do need carbs. You need carbs for your skin, you need carbs for your hair. If I didn't eat carbs, then my hair would fall out. So you do need a balance of it. I mean, and then you need fat, not a lot of it, but you have to have a balanced diet, and I've learned that you can't really cut corners. This is not a time thing for me. I'm not like racing to lose 50 pounds, or I want to basically change my lifestyle and be a healthier person overall. And I want that for my family. And what I've learned is that these habits, because I do believe in the 21 day to form a habit method, and it's been known to work for me. So what I know is that when I bring these behaviors, these new positive behaviors to my household and to my family, I've learned that they adapt too, and they're like, "Oh, well, let me try this, or let's try this." So I was having problems with my water intake, and you see, I got my water here now. So what I decided was that I got to make sure that I have enough water everywhere I go. So I keep about 3 bottles in my car, in my trunk. And those of you that know me, I'm very particular about how I keep my car because I'm extremely organized. So I try to keep it because I had bottles like rolling under my seat. I'm like, where can I put these bottles of water? So I try to keep them in my car. I keep them at my office. I try to keep them everywhere that I know that I'm going to be. I even bring them to the show for myself and any guest. So it's important that you have your water. So I was having a problem with the intake of the water. So what I said was I'll try to drink a bottle of water every other hour during work. Okay? So a bottle of water is 2 glasses of water because it's about 16 ounces or 20 ounces. Sometimes you might get them for 20. So what I do is I start at like 9 o'clock, and I drink a bottle of water, and then I do another one at 11, and then I do another one at 1, and you get the idea. So I do it every other hour for 4 hours because typically your day is 8 hours. So if you do it like that, then you'll get your whole allowance in that time period. Now some people just do 8 glasses of water a day. I will tell you that I talked with my doctor, Dr. She. Hello, Dr. She. And she suggested that you need to increase it depending on your weight. So the 8 glasses of water is for someone that is maintaining their body weight. If you're already at your ideal weight, then yeah, you should. But you should ask your doctor, and I know they have different statistics online based on your weight, how much water should you drink. Everybody has their own idea of that. I try to drink about 5 bottled waters a day is what I do. And And I do track it because like I said, I'm on the Weight Watchers system now, and they have a water tracking system. Another thing that I'm excited about, and I think I talked to you guys a little bit about this last week, is that I've just started incorporating exercise. So all last year, it took me a year, guys, a year to get my eating habits together. And as a result of that, I lost 45 pounds. It was very difficult. I was an avid sweet eater, so that was what really my struggle. My biggest struggle was sweets. So I had to cut out sugar. I cut out sugar entirely, except 20 grams a day for 6 months. So I lost the bulk of my weight loss when I gave up sugar, and that includes soda too. So I had to give it all up. But I learned, and then what I did realize is that our bodies are so immune to sugar that when I did have sugar, I kind of had it was like so pungent. The taste of sugar was so strong. Even in things that I had had before, I was like, gosh, this is sweet. So when you're used to eating it and all the time and drinking it and your liquids, and when you give it a break, it's just like, wow, you can't take as much as you used to. Like I could never eat. I used to like Snicker candy bars. I could never eat one now because my taste buds have changed. And I learned that about the human body is that you will adapt. So I'm a person that loved sweets, and now my sweets consist of zero fat Greek yogurt with walnuts, and I drizzle a teaspoon of honey on it, and that's considered a dessert for me. And before, it was just like cheesecake or something like that. So I really pride myself on that, changing that. About myself. Another thing was the water. So now I drink sparkling water. That's pretty much one of the things I like to drink a lot. I drink LaCroix, Perrier, pretty much, whatever brand's on sale. It really doesn't matter. And I'll drink that as well. So that helps with my water intake. And that actually helped me to start drinking more water because I was a soda person. So I needed that carbonation. So if you're like me and you kind of like pop and you need that carbonation, then you should try sparkling water because it helped me to get over it. Sometimes that's what you need, and especially after a meal, you might want that. So that's something that you should try to help your soda craving. And then, as I said, so I started to do the exercise. So, which was very difficult to me, but I'm very competitive. So, my husband told me, he says, you know what? I wanted the elliptical. He says, okay, before we invest in something like this, because the one I wanted was pretty expensive, about $1,500. And so my husband says, well, I don't mind getting it for you, but I want you to be serious about it, and we can't waste money. So he says, I tell you what, let's make a small wager. He says, if you join a gym, and I have a gym by me that's not even a mile from my house. So he said, you join that gym and you try it out. They have a 30-day trial. So he says, you try it for 30 days. If you go 2 to 3 times a week for 1 month, then I will get you the elliptical. So this was the beginning of the year. So I have won that bet. I am glad to say. Yes, John, I am saying that on TV. I won that bet. And so I'm glad I did it for myself. But let me tell you, so I decided against getting the elliptical at home because I realized that I like to go to the gym. It's really kind of like, away from home, away from, everything. And it's just like nobody can bother me and mommy this, and I could just put on my headphones and there's no interruption. So I decided that I didn't want the elliptical. But I opted for a trip to Hawaii, so I think I won for that. So we will be going to Hawaii for Thanksgiving. So I'm glad that I don't know if John was that happy because I'm sure that Hawaii is way more expensive than that elliptical I wanted. But I'm glad that I fulfilled the commitment. I won the bet, and then I got a trip to Hawaii too. So it kind of is my incentive because when you go to Hawaii you want to swim and wear a bathing suit and things like that. So that's my incentive. So I got, about 10 months to prepare for that. So I'm excited. And thank you, John, for giving me that beautiful gift to Hawaii. So I'm excited about that. So, yeah, we're coming up is Attorneys Are Us, like I said, with attorney Thomas Court. So I'm happy to have that show. So be getting ready for us if you need to call in or anything, or if you have any questions. We have a lot of interesting things we're going to talk about today. So I'm excited about that because as the week had went by, I had thought about, oh, I should ask this, and then a couple of you guys emailed me and even hit me on the messenger, which I really don't check the Facebook Messenger that much, but I'm glad I did because a lot of you that watched the show, you had a lot of questions, and mostly they were related to the auto accident. So I was glad. But remember, you can always call 1-844-TOM-FIGHTS if we're not on the air. You can call them and they will answer the question, so you don't have to wait a week. But I know that you saw me and you got in touch with me, but I appreciate that as well. So we will answer a lot of those questions. I just want to mention Quality Professional Consulting, which is a consulting company that handles medical consulting for various doctors and hospitals. We provide those services, and if you're in need of those services, please contact them at 248-805-2000. We will be here every Thursday with the Wellness Report with Helen at 12:30 and at 1 o'clock for Attorneys Are Us. So we're excited about that. And don't forget to watch Helen's Heavenly Delight, which I think comes on at 2:30 on Thursday with my beautiful mother. And I know she has a lot of stories to share. And like I said, I am the underdog to her because she is very, very, very popular. So I am excited about that. So yeah, it's been a long road. I think I'm going to have Mr. D'Angelo and on next week, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. D'Angelo, but he's going to be on again. I don't know if you remember him for last year. He kind of talked about um, he has a service. It's kind of like AAA, but it's more affordable for the inner city individuals. And there's also a money making component in there that can help you if you want to maximize or have more income. So we'll talk about that too, because whenever you can make more money, I'd say that's a part of good wellness because it makes me feel better when I have more income. So that's good to know. So to kind of sum up what I said about the whole dieting thing, um, I just don't believe in dieting. I believe in lifestyle change because it's all about my whole life. My hair, my skin, my organs, everything. It's not just about how I physically look. And I know a lot in today's world with social media, a lot of people are very vain and they care just about the outer shell. It's not, and some people are beautiful on the outside and they probably are like crap in the inside. And I don't want to be a person like that. So you got to take care of your body. And when you take care of your body, it takes care of you. So it's important that we, do those things for our health and to take care of ourselves. And we start, one of the things that I talked about is water. So you make sure you drink your water. So no dieting. I've revamped that and I decided that, I consider myself, this is the term that I use, I consider myself a 80 percenter because 80% of this time I try to do the right things. Now I do have that 20% where I might, fall off or I might say, well, you know what, today this is just what I want. I don't want a diet soda. I want a regular one. And you have that time, but just make sure that in a week's time that portion of your life is no more than 20%. Or maybe you're a 10% person where you don't want to do, that's just too small of a percentage for me because I like to go to the movies and I don't like diet popcorn. I like movie popcorn with real butter. So sometimes you have to give yourself those things and you can't totally restrict yourself from, having those things because then you're just your life is short and if I'm going to live on this planet I don't want to say that I didn't have some of the things that I want. So you got to be realistic. And we do have family events. There's always a birthday in my family. There's always a holiday coming up. And I would say that that's the 20% of the year. So if you remember last year, I had the 25 days out of the year that I was allowed to have sugar. And I incorporated, like holidays, my anniversary, birthdays, things like that. So when I was doing the low sugar uh, detox, and I did that for a 6 month period. And I'm going to tell you the benefits really quick. I know we got a short time here. But the benefits of me doing the no sugar or low sugar detox was that it helped detoxify my life. I mean, I noticed a difference in my skin. I noticed a difference in my hair. And my hair is very thick, and I noticed that it was shiny. It was very dry before, and I noticed that I had more luster to it, and I just felt better. I noticed that my abdominal area was smaller, and so I just felt better. I had more energy. That was the main thing I noticed from cutting off sugar. I had so much more energy, and it was just more life to me. I did not require as much sleep. That is one of the benefits that I noticed, and I say that's a benefit because I have a busy life, so I work a lot, so I'm not able to sleep, 10 hours like I would like, but I didn't need to. I could sleep off, 5 or 6 hours and I'm still good. Um, I noticed that I craved carbs more at night. So when you stop sugar, you got to be prepared for that. I craved carbs. So what I did is for 90 days I had nothing that tasted sweet at all, which was very hard. So anything that tasted sweet, I didn't have for 90 days. After the 90 days, I incorporated natural sugar like fruit and things like that. So that's what I learned about that. But whatever you try, I'd say stick to it for at least 21 days. And when it says 21 days to form a habit, I will leave it because it has worked for me in several different instances. So I would say that you should do it. And I do wish you the best. Keep on sending me the emails. I respond. And any phone calls, you can call me at 248-805-2000. You can email me at the Wellness Report with Helen at yahoo.com, where I'm always available via email. And like I said, some of you have been even hitting me up on my personal messenger. But whatever way you can contact me. Like I said, we're here every Thursday at 12:30. If you have any questions, please contact us. Make sure you stay tuned for Attorneys R Us with Attorney Thomas Courts. And thank you so much for watching the Wellness Report with Helen. I'm your host, Helen, and you have a good day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why we trying to live like there's no consequences. They tell us how to live right. We get all defensive. That's not the way that life works. Sorry to bust your bubble. Every day that we don't change just leads to more and more trouble, yeah.